Hey, do you remember that dream client, the one who had zero objections? They paid all cash without having any issues at all, ever. Remember that person? Yeah, me neither. That customer doesn't exist. Everyone's got issues. But there are red flags that set some prospects apart. Today on the 5-Minute Sales Training, 3 red flags in new home sales and how to avoid them. You know, home buying is difficult. It just is. The decision is difficult. The process is difficult. The fear is definitely difficult.
It's too hard. Too hard!
Home buying brings up all kinds of emotional trauma for the buyer. And along the way, some of those prospects can get squirrely on you. And not just the prospects, the same holds true for your buyers who are waiting for their home to be built, your buyers in backlog. But some behaviors are more troubling than others. And the longer you wait to respond when you sense trouble, the worse the situation gets. Now, why does that happen? Because of an interesting phenomenon that we've talked about before here on the 5-Minute Sales Training. It's called catastrophization. When a customer is left to their own and a situation is not remedied, they begin to catastrophize. They begin to think of the worst case scenario of what might be going on.
A disaster, an unmitigated disaster.
When we are not quick to respond to a question or a concern or a request, when they see something that they don't understand, in their mind they start thinking about worst case scenarios.
I knew this was going to happen.
Now, what you need to do is look for the signs. Look for the signs that your customer is starting to spin a little bit, that they've got concerns that need to be addressed. Let me give you 3 of those signs. The first is the customer who is emotionally disengaged.
No feelings, no emotions.
You see, people buy on emotion. So when the emotion wanes, it becomes difficult for them to make a decision. And if they've already purchased, they begin to question their decision. You see this when the buyer gets really technical. They ask emotionless questions about micro details. But you also see it when they don't reciprocate your positive energy. So here's the test. Give them an enthusiastic update and see if it gets them excited. Here's a second red flag. The customer who's making a major deal over minor issues. Do you remember that catastrophization we just talked about?
It's the end of the world!
This is where you see it in action. The customer's making a major deal over minor issues, but here's the secret. The small issues that they're bringing up, those are not the real problem. They're likely the symptom of a bigger problem, and that is a lack of trust. If a rental car isn't clean, I start worrying about engine reliability. If the hostess at the restaurant is rude, I'm wondering about the aptitude of the chef. There are preliminary issues that trigger concerns, and those are the things that you need to learn. You need to get them back to those core issues. Ask them about their concerns, and then ask them what else and what else. We've got to get back to what triggered this in the first place, so that we're dealing with the real issues and not just the overriding symptoms. Now, one more red flag to look for, and that is the customer who is fixated on cost and price. The reason that's an issue is because the greater the emotional commitment to the home, the less there is a fixation on money. Now, this too is a symptom of a bigger issue, the feeling that it's just not worth it. And why is it no longer worth it? Because the emotion has waned.
This one costs too much.
You need to bring that emotional energy back up. You need to reconnect on their mission. You need to remind them of how great their life is going to be. Now, let me make a suggestion here. At your next sales rally, talk about these 3 things with your peers. Get into it and really try to get inside the head of your customers. I think this could lead to a riveting conversation. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's red flag episode. Next week, I'm going to be exploring 3 green flags in new home sales, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss that episode. And make sure you like our videos each time, please. It tells YouTube to get this out to even more people. Thanks for watching, and until next time, learn more to earn more.